Alrighty guys, so with Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, there is one character that is very unique, and it is the upcoming half-year anniversary, aka the first year anniversary, being Itadori, of course. That is going to, well, technically speaking, that should be the next, well, the beginning part of the anniversary for Global, unless things change, but I think with how things are and how the developers are possibly keeping an eye on the community, you know, they're going to get their money's worth, and so realistically it'll be smart for them to drop Itadori first to get the hype going, you know, get that incentive, not so much incentive, but it kind of encourages people to summon even though they don't, because they fall into the pressure of the hypeness, as I've said previously in the past. So that could happen, that's happened to me a few times, let's be real. But with this Itadori, what makes him special is the fact that, first of all, he hits hard, very nice, you know, getting that ultimate going in, you know, as a yellow DPS, one of the better yellow DPS you can kind of resort to. But the thing that really set him apart was the fact that he is able to do multiple hits per turn. To be exact, 2 hits. And to be honest, with this Itadori, those 2 hits, they do hit a lot. The way I look at Itadori is he's got 3 hit ultimates, right? Because you've got the initial ultimate itself, which does a phenomenal amount of damage. You know, you consider all the buffing, all that good stuff, and the man can really cook off. And then after that, you can furthermore cater to doing more buffs, which will equate to over 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, like a ridiculous amount of damage into the 3rd hit within that 2nd turn to do a ridiculous amount of damage purely because of the initial boosting that you've done, right? And then outside of that, people tend to just regularly pile on the skill 3. Even if it's in the 2nd turn, people will double up on the skill 3 on the 2nd turn and on the 3rd turn to maximize that damage output. Because you got to remember, with the amount of buffing that he gains, you know, from using certain skills within the 1st slot or 2nd slot period, yeah, it just equates to a ridiculous amount of damage from this Itadori, and that's what makes him special. That's what makes him a bit of an eye candy type of character, you know, in terms of yellow DPS, to have guaranteed 3 turns to kind of benefit from utilizing all the debuffs and buffs that you've garnered with other means, other characters, of course. You know, you are truly maximizing that with that damage output through Itadori. Not to say that you can't do that with Gojo, but with Itadori, you got multiple hits coming in. So I mean, you could do a little bit more. His percentage play should be a little bit more. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But anywho, the reason why I'm speaking about the boy Itadori is because, again, he's got that uniqueness of a 2-hit turn. Well, as you guys know, we are well on our way for the 1.5 year anniversary. Obviously, with Global, you guys have had your pre-anniversary character, aka Yuki. Right after that, we're now looking into the anniversary characters to release, which you already know. Obviously, on the JP side of things, we don't know what they're cooking up. We don't know what the future character is like. We do know who's going to be the pre-anniversary character, who is still yet to drop, who will be dropping on Monday on the 28th. But they dropped the video, and something has caught everyone's attention. So here is the... I'll play it out. So there's Ino, of course. And, oh, why is it on... Okay, there we go. I was going to say, why is it so horrible quality? Jeez Louise. But this character, it is a blue typing. The minute... Okay, there was a few people, like on the JP Play side of things, but the minute they saw the blue typing, they're like, oh, it's okay. Sukuna can still handle business. It's okay. Oh my goodness gracious me. But the developers... hey, look, I mean, it's options, who knows. But in terms of furthermore looking into this said character, he's got a buff where, I'm not too sure what the bubbles are, but he's got guaranteed evasion, which is very nice. I'm not too sure how many evasions he get, if it's turn-based or if it's like hit-wise, but there's evasion being applied right there, of course. There's a technique booster or Jujutsu booster. There's also, I don't know if that's from the passive, but he does have an attacking boost, of course, but yeah, right there, of course. But as you guys can see, there's a symbol right here, and he's got 2 attacks. So Ino is the next character in line, because again, we've only seen it with Itadori, but now it is now they've reintroduced it into a different character and into a blue Ino. So you can see how this one's going to play out, on what the incentive will be on this one to kind of get us to summon, outside of, you know, Sukuna kind of breaking the game, especially with how OP he is for the blue typing. But we are going to be getting a character that can double hit. So this is going to be very, very interesting, because you're going to remember when Itadori does his double hit, depending on what skill. So for example, if you use the skill 3 on the first slot, it changes up on the buffs on what you gain, right? No, sorry, skill 2, my bad, skill 2. Because if you use the skill 2 on the first slot, so for example, if you use skill 2 for Itadori here, he'll give himself a crit and a black flash increase. If you use the skill 2 on the second action, he'll get a damage dealt increase. So there's that form of uniqueness between the skills on where you slot it in to give you different type of buffs, of course. So with with the attack buff here and then the Jujutsu buff here, I assume that's going to be some form of correlation between his skills once he activates the initial buffing phase, which is through here, because it symbolizes it there, right? So you get that double hit, and then that'll probably add on certain actions for these two, and maybe the ultimate. I'm not too sure. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's as far as we know. Didn't expect them to take the blue route. Wasn't expecting that, and I didn't expect. Well, the last thing was on my mind to get an Itadori 2.0 in terms of doing a double hit. So this is definitely going to be a step point going forward, where the future characters, maybe the 1.5 year anniversary characters will also potentially get double stat. I mean, could they go even further and make it so that we get 3 hits per turn, 4 hits per turn? I mean, it'll be pretty chaotic if we get to that point, but it's nice to see that they're actually capitalizing on actually bringing more into the whole double hits 1 turn. But yeah, definitely from this. Oh wait, hold on a minute. I just realized one of his skill has an attack increase. Is that from the actions, or was that originally on his? No, it wasn't. Oh, okay, so his skill 3 becomes offensive. Yeah, because by activating the buff, then there's no usage for it. So by activating it again, it becomes an attacking with an attack boosting of some form. And then he goes into, is that the second skill? Yeah, then it becomes the second skill. It seems like there's going to be a mixture between this, where it's this character is going to be a taijutsu and a jujutsu user. Yeah, unless they class that as melee too. It'll be interesting to see though. Anyway, so that's pretty much what's happening for the pre 1.5 year anniversary. Yeah, so we're getting the Itadori treatment, the anniversary Itadori treatment. But it's going to be a tough one for the developers, because again, there has to be some form of catch, because Sukuna is just holding it down and will be holding it down for God knows how long for that offensive power in general, and more importantly, he is most definitely going to be holding it down for the blue typing for a hot minute. Unless there's a stage where melee is involved, then okay, fair play, there's that alternative usage out of it from of course, but yeah, I'm gonna say optimistic and say that there's gonna be something about that's gonna be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna need him, but it's gonna be a tough call. I'm definitely gonna be going for this man, but we'll see what he does. I'm hoping he's not a dud. Like I said, the only dud we have had ever since the Shibuya arc has started is that damn Mua. Alright, everyone else, fire. Please, this is a pre 1.5 year anniversary, developers. Don't do us dirty. Do not do us dirty. I swear to God, if this man gets insane amount of buffs and just nuke single target, ooh, they could make him a single target nuker, because Sukuna's AoE and he's got that DOT to fall back on. I'll be down with a Kukusagi Itadori type vibe going into Ino. That'd be pretty cool.